In this video, we'll go through some basic configuration steps that can be taken in a print server environment. First, we'll add a license to the license server, which in our setup is also the bridge. Second, we'll start an RDP session and manually add a gateway printer. For users who print through print servers, gateway printers are special instances of those printers that form a secure connection or gateway between their session and the actual printer instance on the print server. Next, we'll configure gateway printer properties globally for all users, and we'll also set default gateway printer properties, which will be applied to all newly installed gateway printers. Then we'll make different UniPrint features available to users during their sessions. Next, we'll configure and enable the UniPrint Email PDF and UniPrint Save PDF queues. Then we'll enable and set the order of precedence for group policy objects. And finally, we'll enable and set up a schedule for font replication. Font replication can greatly improve print job transfer speeds, since it allows UniPrint to strip font information from the PDF generated on the application server and then rebuild it at the print server, thereby reducing bandwidth consumption. Now let's go to the UniPrint bridge to add a license. License files are sent via email after you register your serial number on our website. These files arrive as text file attachments, and you'll have to change the file extensions from .txt to .reg. We'll be installing a demo license in our test environment, and if you're testing UniPrint Infinity, you can also obtain a demo license by contacting UniPrint Sales or UniPrint Support. Click Add License. Click to browse for the license file. For this demonstration, we saved our demo license in the installation folder on our desktop. Click to select the license file, and then click Open. Click Finish. The red banner will be replaced with licensing information. Now let's go to the client machine to start an RDP session. Click to open a remote desktop connection. Enter the IP address of the application server, and then click Connect. Now that we're in an RDP session, let's manually add a gateway printer. If you implement PrintPal, then this step is not necessary, since PrintPal will automatically add gateway printers to user sessions. A separate video on configuring PrintPal will also be available. Click Start. Click Control Panel. Click Devices and Printers. Click Add a Printer. Click to select a printer. We'll select the HP LaserJet M4345 MFP printer. Gateway printers are indicated with hash numbers and are typically situated on the bridge. Click Next. Click Next again. We don't want this to be our default printer, so clear Set as the default printer. Click Finish. This gateway printer has now been added to this user session. If we were to log out and then log back in, this gateway printer will still be available to the user. Let's close this window and log out of this session. Click Start. Click your username and then select Sign Out. Let's go back to the bridge to change printer properties on a gateway printer. Under Properties and Settings, click Printers. This gives us a list of all the gateway printers. Click to select a gateway printer, such as the Kyocera KM3050. Click Properties. Let's change a couple of printer properties. Click the General tab. From the paper size list, select Legal. Click the Advanced tab. We want to ensure that documents print out as they were intended and designed by the author. If the client device a user is printing from doesn't have the same fonts installed, they may end up with strange characters or missing fonts. To ensure that this doesn't happen, we'll change the font embedding option from minimal to full. This increases the file size, but ensures that the document prints out properly. Select Full Font Embedding. We want people to print out in black and white so that we don't waste expensive color ink. From the color list, select Grayscale. Click Save. We can also set up default printer properties for any newly added gateway printers. Click Publish Options. Click Default Settings. Click the General tab. Some properties are disabled. The disabled properties are printer-specific, and there is no way to tell if a newly added gateway printer supports these properties or functions. The properties that are enabled are those that affect the creation or rendering of a print job. And since these are not printer device specific, you can change any of these properties. Click the Advanced tab. Let's change the font embedding options again. From the font embedding options list, select Full Font Embedding. Click Save. Click Cancel to exit Publish options. Now let's enable different UniPrint features within user sessions. Go to the application server. Under Network Connections, click Sessions. Under Protocols is a list of virtual channels that UniPrint uses to transfer print jobs. The order in which they are listed is the order UniPrint uses to automatically detect them. To change the detection order, click to select the protocol. Click on either the up or down arrow to move it within the list. For Macintosh and/or Linux users, you will need to select Mac Client, Linux Client. If you have users that connect to a second application server by launching another session from within the original session, then select the appropriate protocol. UniPrint will then treat this application server as a pass-through client, and print jobs will be sent seamlessly through multiple sessions back to the originating workstation. If you have users who do this, then select the protocols that apply, such as RDP. Select ICA 10 Plus for those who utilize the Citrix receiver, and also select ICA 9 and earlier for those who utilize older Citrix ICA clients. The settings under Logon options are for actions that are performed when a session is started. We would like the user init process to finish launching all logon scripts, so we'll keep Wait for user init to finish selected. Set UniPrint as default printer is for the client-server setup. Since we set up a print server, we'll be accessing network printers. Clear Set UniPrint as default printer. Also, we want all print jobs to be deleted from a disconnected session when the user starts a new session, so select Delete Leftover Print Jobs. PrintPal is an easy utility that you can use to add printers to your users' sessions on their behalf. We'll be setting up PrintPal in a future video, so select Run PrintPal on this server. To save our configuration, click Save. Just because we set up a print server doesn't mean your users can't print to the UniPrint printers. In fact, if they want to print to a desktop printer attached locally to their machines, they can still do so without making that printer a network printer. Your users can also make use of the email and save features, but these are disabled by default and need to be configured. Under Properties and Settings, click Printers. To allow users to email a copy of their print job as a PDF attachment directly from the application server, click to select UniPrint Email PDF. And then click Properties. If your users already have MAPI configured on their client devices, then by selecting Use Default MAPI Client, no further configuration is required. If your email clients don't support MAPI, then users can send email directly through your mail server. Clear Use Default MAPI Client. Enter the address of the mail server that will be used. This server must have SMTP running on it. If your mail server requires authentication, select Server Requires Authentication, and then enter credentials for the mail server. But since this is only a demonstration, clear Server Requires Authentication. Enter the default email address from which messages will be sent. If the user's email address is in Active Directory, then the AD email address will appear instead of the one set here. To test your connection to the mail server, click Test. Enter an email address to which to send a test message, and then click Send. Since this is only a demonstration, click Cancel. To save these settings, click Save. To enable this printer, click Yes. Click Yes to restart the control service. Saving is also disabled by default. To enable saving, right-click UniPrint Save PDF. Select Enable. Click Yes to restart the control service. Now let's look at setting how group policy objects are applied to UniPrint Infinity. Under Properties and Settings, click Policies. We would like user settings to remain persistent between sessions. Select User Settings. To ensure that user settings are applied first, click to select User Settings, and then click the up arrow to move it up the list. Let's move it back down the list. Click the down arrow. Now let's save our configuration. Click Save. Let's go to the print server to configure and enable font replication. Licensing information hasn't been updated on this server yet. Click Refresh. The glaring red box should disappear. Under Properties and Settings, click Components. Click to select Font Replication plugin, and then click Properties. Click the Schedule tab. To enable font replication, select Enabled. You can set a time when this print server requests fonts from the application server. A good time is sometime outside of regular business hours. Let's schedule it for 3 a.m. in the morning. You can also have font replication occur on demand by clicking Run Now. Click OK. Thank you for watching this short video. Now that we have the basic configuration done, we can move on to more advanced configuration tasks. We'll have videos on configuring PrintPal, Printer Profiler, Secure Print, archiving and statistics, as well as the new features in version 9, such as email to print and iOS OS X printing. For more information, feel free to visit our website at www.uniprint.net or contact our friendly support staff at support@uniprint.net.